Hi, we're here at Sport Beach. I'm Maria. I'm the CSO at 72andSunny for International Office, as I'm lucky to be with Sharon. Sharon, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Maria. Pleased to be here. I'm Sharon Annette. I am the Director of Commerce Capabilities and Brand Building at Heineken.
Heineken is our new partner, and we are so excited to be working with you. Yay! So, I want to talk obviously a little bit about that process and about what drives creativity for you at Heineken. So, we're going to get to all those things. I think first I'd love to talk a little bit about our new partnership and forging that partnership through the pitch process and ask you probably a little bit about what stood out in that process for you.
Yeah.
And what you saw that was exciting, I guess.
Yeah, no, we were looking for true partners through the pitch process that could work across the portfolio as well. And I think for me, what stood out with you guys was, I think, the enthusiasm, for sure. You want people that really want to be your partners and that show up that way every day. And I think you also want people that give you energy as well. And we really felt the energy and enthusiasm. And I think that does two things. One, there was a very strong message about commitment to results. You're about the results at the end of the day. But also this energy brings a playfulness as well. So, you need that for creativity. It's so important. And so that's what we loved about you guys. And obviously we saw the work that you'd done as well. But we really felt that kind of relationship and that mindset that you brought to the table meant that we could create that kind of work with you.
That's amazing. I love that I asked a question about having to get some flowers about 72 and
There you go. I'm pleased to give them. They're given
thanks,
with
Sharon, for giving them.
pleasure.
It's very lovely. It's very embodied in our Play to Win ethos, I feel. But okay, so moving on to creativity, because that's the topic of everything we do together, and results, creativity that wins for sure. Heineken has been putting out also incredible creativity in the world, and you have a bit of a recipe or lens to look at creativity, which is the Heineken magic. Can you talk a little bit about that and unpack that?
Yeah, the Heineken magic, we talk a lot about the Heineken magic, and it's a combination of art, science and courage. And obviously the science comes a lot through the work that we do with consumers, how we measure things, look into the outside world as well, and understanding from others how brands are built. That's why we're also here at Cannes as well, to see partners who can help us on that journey. We also recognise, though, that there is an art. Marketing is not paint by numbers by any stretch of the imagination. There's got to be an art. There's got to be something that comes from the gut and from the heart as well. And we very strongly believe in that. We've got very entrepreneurial roots as a company. That's how we were founded as a business. And we're very proud of that as well. And then there's the courage piece, and that one is, that's kind of harder to put your finger on it, but it's about creating an atmosphere where people feel safe to take risks, to make mistakes, and to learn from those and move on and do something bigger and better. So we try in the organisation to create that culture and make sure that we protect that culture as well.
Yeah, we hear a lot about art and science maybe, but I think the courage bit and that adding up is kind of what made it special and got us excited also to live up to it, I think. So, yeah. That's good. I wanted to also talk about creativity and through the lens of culture and what you might be excited about in terms of unleashing the portfolio or some of the brands a little more and embedding them in culture, or at least leading with culture when thinking about those brands and market.
Yeah, and this is honestly a journey that we're relatively new on in terms of really thinking about brands through culture. We already do a lot of things intuitively, but how do you actually formalise the thinking on it? And I guess that's where we're starting to be a bit more structured on that. but it's very interesting to sort of see how we have always been very consumer centric as an organisation. We always start with the consumer and what the consumer wants. Looking at it through the lens of culture kind of looks at how the consumer organises into communities, and actually the influence that those communities have back on what people want and need. So, you know, it's and some of that is about really understanding. There's a moment of revelation where you think, we're not in control of the narrative, you know, and that has evolved over time, and obviously social media, etc., etc. Brands do not control the narrative. They need to lean into the narrative. They need to become part of it. And I think that's a mindset shift when you think about brands and culture, about actually looking at where can I play a role in culture. So it's first saying we don't control the narrative, and secondly saying, how am I actually adding value within the communities where I'm most relevant in a way that's meaningful. And that's how your brand becomes more relevant, and it feels very authentic as well. You know, it's something that you're really making those choices to say, where can I play, and rightfully so, you know, authentically so.
It does take courage to figure out to let go of the narrative, I guess. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's just acknowledging that you don't have it. It's not even letting go of it. It's just saying we don't control this narrative. We've got to be part of it, you know?
We're looking forward to figuring it out all together.
Yeah.
I guess one last question would be, what are you excited about for the years ahead? And would that be what you're talking about with culture, or is there anything else that you get excited about when thinking about Heineken creativity, growth, and putting out the work that's going to have an impact?
Yeah, I think that you're right. Culture is a big part of it. It's a different way of thinking about brand building, so we're excited about that. I think I continue to be excited about, and this doesn't sound very sexy, but I continue to be excited about systemizing some of this stuff.
You're talking to a strategist, all good.
That's okay, fine. But you know, we have some real pockets of genius, and we continue. Part of my role is to work on how do we systemize that and make that spread throughout the organisation. So that's kind of like, you know, that's something that we keep plugging away on. We've got some big transformations, and I hate to say AI, but we have some big transformations in the pipeline in terms of AI and how we integrate that into some of our workflows as well. So that's exciting. That's big changes, and I've no doubt that there's going to be more in the pipeline, because there's a lot that we can still do. I think we do well, but we're always looking to do better.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
Thank you, Maria.
Thanks
for inviting me.
Loved it.